All right, everyone. It looks like we are live. Everything's going. Welcome to the Unconventional Mindset. My name is Odum, and it is Tuesday. Yeah, today's Tuesday, I think. And what are we doing here? We're live streaming our process and the work that we're doing to try to build ourselves a company that's worth $1 million, or a company that generates $1 million in revenue every year. That's what we're working towards, and we're just going to keep plugging away. And of course, what we are building is Pixel Pieces, which is a Webflow component and template library, which is a little bit of an offshoot of our web design company that we have, which is called Pixel Media. So yesterday we were working on building the footer components. We started with building that, and we're just going to continue on with that. Super simple. We're going to keep things nice and easy and keep rolling along here. So I'll zoom in a little bit here, make it a little bit easier for you guys to see, and let's get to work. So, how are you doing today? Hope you're having a great day, and that whatever it is that you're building, that you're having fun with it. Because at the end of the day, we kind of want to try to see if we can do things, that are fun, that bring at least a little bit of enjoyment into our lives. I am looking for something that I could use to copy. Here we go. Cut and paste. We need to copy our first footer into this one so that we can rename the styles. Oh. Yeah, something went wrong. What is this? Contact us. Where did that pop up? How did that pop up? Okay, we want to basically copy this here because we want to rename everything footer 2, and you can't do that. You can't do that within, what am I looking for? You can't do that within, oh my goodness, within the same project. Otherwise, you'll rename the styling, which we don't want to do. So we do it here. Okay. Let me see. Is my... chat is disabled. How do I enable that? I think I need to do it every single time, don't I? If I go to docs... I think I need to... I need to change the pop-up. I don't think I'm going to do that. Sorry, guys. I'm just still messing around with OBS and trying to figure out what's the best workflow. Still don't have it down. Probably going to be lots of work to figure that out. But anyways, okay. So our second... our alternative footer is going to be a little bit different. So let's just start off with renaming our styles. So let's go here to client first and go to our folders. And let's rename this. Fantastic. Whoops. Where am I? So it's like everything renames except sometimes this one doesn't. Which is kind of frustrating, but what can you do? Okay. I wonder if there's certain things here that I can change instead of having this footer 2 column link. It could just be footer column link if they're all going to be kind of the same thing. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Okay, so let's go back here, and this whole section we're going to copy, but we're going to delete that, and we're going to bring this one over to right here. Right, so see see how it renames things when you copy and paste them. Really annoying. So that still needs to be company creed, and I think there was something to do with what else was renamed? Oh, and the grid. Right. So that needs to be grid. And then here, grid 5. But actually, this is going to be different now that I think about it. So let's change that. Okay, well, let's keep plugging away here. So basically what we want to do is, instead of having these things, like every item in here, there's just going to be some primary buttons like company, about, services, just for a website that is more, just a more simple site, like a very simple, like a new company kind of corporate website, which just has like your home page, your about page, your services, those kinds of things. So what should we do? I think we should take a couple of these columns, delete them. In fact, this whole thing is not going to be a grid. We need to change it. Or actually, maybe it can be a grid, but it'll just be a 2-column grid. So grid 2 columns. And this will go here. And I think here we'll throw in sorry, I'm just looking at my sheet here the stuff that we drew. Right. So we're gonna go here, footer, 2, navigation or menu, maybe just menu. And then text link. I'll just say footer 2, menu link. Say services, product, pricing, and contact. So very simple menu. And this one, we are going to want to, we're definitely going to want to flex it because we want to give a good space in between each item, maybe even 1.5. And we also want to align the whole thing onto the right, like so. And we are not going to have those links. We're going to have the social media. Now we want to align this onto the right. There is text align right, but that's not going to work because we don't need to align the text right. We need to align the whole thing like this. I feel like we don't want a combo class for this. I think we want to just rename it. Instead of social media, it's like social media left or footer 2 social media, something like that. Or, I mean, if this column, if I make, can I align everything here onto the right? It justifies everything, not, oh, maybe I could do that. That does work. Because that aligns everything, all the elements within it to the right. So I'm just trying to think of what it should be. If it should be its own class or not. So let's go into here. And the other thing that I want to do is basically need to put in a subscribe form. So let's throw that in. Form block. Footer, subscribe. Footer 1, subscribe. And we're going to keep it very simple with just the email address and the button. And that's button. And what is it? I can't remember the style guide for forms. Let's figure this out. Let's go to the style guide here for a second. What? That's not the style guide. What the hell just happened? What is going? That's not right. This is freaking me out. Why is every page the same? Okay, that freaked me out. Okay, so style guide. Let's go to forms. Because there's a specific thing that we need to do with the form. We just call it form component and then form underscore form. Okay. So this is form underscore component. And this is form underscore form. And what do we do for, do we not have the style guide published somewhere? I feel like we have this one published somewhere. forms. Okay, this doesn't say what to call everything, so let's just scroll down a little bit. Forms. Form input and form label and form field wrapper. Let me just take a little screenshot of this. There you go, just so I can have. All right, so let's build this out here. Form label and form input. And button should just be button. I thought I already updated this. Oh, it didn't stick, right? Subscribe. Okay. So we have that. And I don't know if I need to wrap this up in any additional div. And then this can go. Okay, so this is basically the second idea, or for the second basic footer. You have the logo and whatever company creed or whatever goes underneath here. And then you have the navigation, and then you have a subscribe form, and then you have the social media sharing icons. So I like that. But again, now we need to make sure everything is right justified. And where should we put that? And I also don't like this footer column 2. So I want to, well, I guess. Because they're not like columns like this one. Right? In footer column 1. This is more like a grid or more like a section. Maybe let's rename it to section. And then, maybe, no. There's all these stylings that we don't need. Let's try footer 2. And I don't want to do section left, section right. Sometimes getting good CSS class names a little bit tricky, at least for me anyways. Footer 2 section. I mean, you can do left and right, but that's kind of ugh. Because with layouts, flexible layouts, they might not always be left and right, but maybe let's try that for now. Because section 2 right, we definitely want to align everything. I think if we flex it and vertical and then align it to the right, that works. And we also, can we get a gap in between each of these sections? And I feel like in this form, We do want to float this one to the right as well. But how should we do that? And if we make updates to this form, then it's going to make updates to the whole style guide, which we don't want. So what do we do? Let's say, I think we can maybe do like align right. And that's not going to align that one right. That's because the whole thing needs to be, this whole thing needs to be basically flex. Can I have something like is flex right? Because if I say if it is flex right, I can go like this and then align it to the right, like so. And then away you go. But I don't really want that because I don't want this one to the right. I just want the button to the right. So I wonder if I could probably just do this. And I think that just changes this form label, not all form labels. But let's just have a look, see. On our other pages, which basically would be here on our forms. I think I passed it. Forms. Right, the form labels, they don't have that. Okay, good. So let's go back to footer. So I think that works, but I wonder if we should see I have all form inputs to have a 0 there. Maybe if I go to is flex right, do I want to add a little bit of a gap between each item? Maybe I do. Maybe something really small like that. And do we get rid of like the field? I don't know. One thing that I've been thinking about, and I'm not sure exactly how to proceed with this, because I guess I'm a little bit at odds with how much styling do I put in here versus just letting the user decide. Because all those little things that I was doing for like this email address, for example, just to get it to look kind of like this, a little spacing or whatever to, right, justify it, whatever. Like those are like individual decisions that should be done by like the designer, right? So yeah, I don't know. I remember the thing that is always sticking into my mind is the WordPress themes that I remember I used to download, which were completely just stripped down, super, super bare. Like it was just basically raw HTML, maybe a few, very, very few CSS styles applied, and you just go to town, just do whatever you want with it. So the idea of being able to cut and paste a component that has, hey, it just has the elements that I want, I will go ahead then and just style it according to what makes the most sense for me. So I kind of like that thinking, but I don't know if that's people are going to see that and be like, well, you know what? It's so minimal. It looks like, it just looks like really trashy. Why would I even bother with this? So I'm not sure. I guess that's just going to be trial and error to figure out what's going to work and what people are going to gravitate towards. I mean, do I think that it's going to be a bad idea that, there's a little bit of styling here and that people are going to be turned off by that? I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest, but at the end of the day too, I guess I'm just not sure. And I think what I need to do, like anything, is just try to complete as many of the basic components that I want to complete and put it out there in a product that people can start using and testing and letting me know what they think about it. I mean, I don't know really how else to reconcile that. But then I have to remember, there's a video I saw. I didn't watch all of it, but it's from the guy. He has a podcast called Diary of a CEO, and he was interviewing the guy who wrote The Psychology of Money. Totally can't remember his name right now. And he was basically telling the story of how he wrote that book, which is one of the top sellers, I'm sure, in terms of actual like book sales in finance. Here, let me just bring it up actually. Psychology of Money. Right. So like if you look at this book here, like 66,000 reviews, which is like insane. Over 4 million copies sold. I guess that's what it said. Jason Zweig. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Oh no, that's not the author. Morgan Housel, that's the author. Anyways, very, very popular book. So he was interviewing this guy, and I actually haven't read this book. It's actually here in the house, but I haven't read it. Anyways, so he's giving a story, and he's talking about how he wrote this book, and how he wrote the book. And he kind of has a very similar philosophy that I have. And I think I picked this up from the guys at Basecamp, 37 Signals, who created Basecamp and Hey and a few other things, is that he wrote the book for what was interesting for him and not for what he thought other people are going to want to have. Because when you try to build things for other people, you kind of can start to pander towards them, and then you kind of get lost a little bit. Or you can anyways. And that was the same thing for the guys at Basecamp or 37 Signals at the time. They were like, we need to build a tool that is going to help us in what we're trying to do in our work. And then it just so happened to be that tool was very useful to other people. So with all that being said, it's really sticking into my mind of how do I use Webflow? How do I build Webflow for my clients? And what tools can I build within Webflow, which is these kind of components and templates? What tools can I build which will help me do my best work possible? And to just build that and then kind of see what happens. Because if I start trying to build things for other people, like strictly just for other people, then I might lose my way in the sense that I don't know 100% what they want, what they're looking for. And if I don't understand it completely, then how can you build a solution that is going to be good for them? Now, all that being said, I'm not saying that you can't go on and use customer feedback as a positive thing to improve your product. Like, it's absolutely essential to get that feedback, especially if you're trying to grow. it's super important. And you do need to understand what your customer wants. Otherwise, they're not going to be customers anymore because they're going to go get it somewhere else. Totally understand that and totally concede that and get that. But like when you're just starting out, you know, if you can find 100 people, 500 people or whatever that are just like you, that think like you, that work like you know, out of 8 billion people in the world, you can get a good starting point and lay down a good foundation for your product, or at least in this case for pixel pieces. So anyways, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm struggling with and trying to figure out exactly how to do this and how to work this. So a little bit of a rant there and a little bit of, not so much of a rant, but I guess just kind of thinking of how I'm going to make this work and thinking about how much I need to fret and fuss over putting these styles. Because for me, it's like, you know what? Just give it to me like practically raw. And then I'll take that piece and I'll put it into my website. I don't need you to worry about trying to make it look good or anything like that, because that's what I'm going to do. That's going to be my thing. So I think I just need to keep that in mind as I, you know, continue to work and continue to build things. And this thing is always like, I got to figure out how to put this stand better, or how to get a better mic arm or something. Now the problem is that it doesn't have a good 5/8 inch. Like this thing is a 1/4 inch, and then the Shure SM7B takes in a 5/8 inch. There's an adapter, but the adapter on the inside, it's just, I don't know, it just always gets loose and it's just really annoying. Anyways. Right. Okay. So that's basically it for this basic footer too. And I think there was a third one that I wanted to do, which is also very, very simple. So again, we're going to go here to footer 2, and we are going to come into our copy, a little place here that we copy things, and let's delete all our styles. So everything's empty. Get in here and paste. And we need to rename things. It's funny, like after I remember seeing the first Webflow when they changed to this new thing with a little bit more contrasty, I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling it. But now when I open up this and I see it being this kind of muted gray, I like the darker one better. Footer 3. Save and update. And of course, it updates everything but the actual main class. That's okay. Okay, so this one is basically going to be the logo with everything underneath, and then the what is it called? The social links, and then like a copyright thing. So a very simple one. So this one's not even going to be in a grid. I'm just going to call this footer 3 container. Call it that for now, and we'll see what we get. Okay, so we get the logo, and then we actually need the menu. And we need the social links. And I think that's it for this one. And we just want the copyright alt one. Is it 126? It's the alt code for copyright. Alt code copyright. 0169. Oh, I'm doing this in the wrong spot. I'll have to move over. 0169. Copyright 2023. Should probably get some JavaScript in there to change it up, or to make it dynamic instead of hard coded. But that's a whole nother thing. Hey, PSPK Gaming, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you. How you doing today? And that's it. So let's rename this. This is not going to be the company creed. This is just going to be footer 3 copyright. And get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of that. And let's copy this over to the actual proper section. I'm going to put it in here. I have to make a few little quick tweaks. There we go. And this is the basic footer 3. 3 here. All right. So this footer container, everything here needs to be aligned. I think if we do this, it's only going to, it's not going to do everything. So the best way to fix this one would be to vertically align things in a flex layout. Perfect. Although I'm missing, where's the copyright go? Oh, I think I deleted it. Okay, well that's fine. We'll just put it back. We'll bring it back. Text link, text block, copyright alt 0169, copyright 2023. This footer 3, copyright. And I guess we're just going to do a little bit of sizing here to make it a little bit smaller compared to everything else, maybe even tiny. And color, I guess we could make it just a little bit lighter. Okay, and now what do we have here? So we have some spacing issues. I think what we can do is on this one, something like this, and then the actual menu itself, I think we want it probably 3 times the distance. Something like this. So again, a very, very simple footer, but one that you see often enough. So I like that. I like that. So obviously this footer is the more complicated one. Complicated in the sense that there's just lots of things. But for the most part, I think this is a very standard footer that I think a lot of people like to use. This one works quite a bit as well too. This one may be more for personal sites kind of thing. So is there any other type of footer that we can design? Again, the idea too is to create the components, right? We're not going to be creating these one-off ready-made pieces. So I do know that, yeah, those are the 3 footers that I had originally sketched out. Oh, there's one thing here that I forgot to put on. Kind of like I have it here listed as a notification on a nav item. Right. So that is, for example, here we have something that says like now hiring. So let me, I think this is going to be a little bit different, but let's see. Let's go careers. And then inside, we're going to have another text block, but this is going to say like this, now hiring. So let's go footer. Is with notification. I don't know if that makes sense or if it should just be its own thing. Yep. It basically needs to be like this. And then what we want to do, that's just going to be regular text block, but this is going to be footer 1 notification. So we're going to make the font size pretty small. We need to have some padding. Ah, crap, I forgot to do something. Sorry, I was just thinking I totally forgot to do something that I was supposed to do when Andrea was gone. I'm going to hear from it after. Shoot. Anyways, let's continue on with this. And let's give this border small border radius. 2.5. And the background color. Maybe just an accent color, accent light. And the text color could be black. No decoration, but that's not overriding. That's annoying. What do we do here? So if we do that and we give it no text decoration, but we can override that right there. Footer 1, column, link, text. Make that even smaller. How does that look? Again, the idea is not to design something right now that's going to be perfect out the box, but it's just going to be showing people the art of what's possible. That's almost even too big. But again, someone can take that and do with it what they want. I mean, that's the whole point of a component. Well, these components anyways. So if it is with notification, then it's just decoration is none. So it can still be aligned. And then of course, I think if I hover over everything, yeah, everything still looks good. I think this doesn't need an is. This is not really a modifier. Well, maybe it kind of is. Okay. So what else do we have? Address. Right, we could put in an address field. Our little address piece. So if we have an address tag, what's the correct structure of putting something in an address? Let's see. Just the whole thing. You can have the link. You can have lots of different things. Okay, the elements content can take whatever form is appropriate for the context. Okay. So it looks like the address is defaulted to italics. So do we put it in a paragraph or do we put it in a text? So, 1, 2, 3. Street address drive. Nova Scotia, Canada. And then whatever. B, BC, no. B3C. So something like that. And then you could have email or whatever. For example, contact at company.com. And that, of course, should be an email. And does that show up? Yeah, and then that's got to come in there. Okay. And one last thing. One I don't know. Throw up some random number. And that's going to be a link to a phone number. So 1-705-555-2687. Right. So something simple like that. And this what do we do with this address here? And what is causing this spacing here? Oh, this one has some padding. Fair enough. So if this one I want padding top and then oops. I guess I want padding small. Actually, we need to just, this will be address actually. What am I thinking? Regular style. Then we'll just add some padding up on the top this way. And maybe the font size is just a little bit smaller. Yeah, something like that works. Logo, little company creed, address, navigation, subscribe form, social media links. Again, I think the idea really is that people can kind of cut and paste the pieces that they want if they want it to be a little bit different or slightly different or whatever. Okay, I think that works for menu for footer number 2. We got footer 1, footer 2, footer 3. Those are looking good. We got our basic navigation. We got our custom navigation. We got a custom navigation with a mega menu and then with a large mega menu. So those are looking good. So that's looking good. So what do we have left? I mean, obviously a lot of things, but we need to work on. Grab something to help me write down my thoughts. Where'd my pencil go? Oh, it's in here. All right, so we still need to do, well, you can even take a look at our actual pixel pieces here, because I think I have some stuff that's we had already laid out in the navigation. All right, so in here, we're going to, let's zoom out a little bit here. No, I don't quite pull it in. So let's, the actual dashboard. Right, okay, so I only put in a few things here. So we need to make hero sections. So I'll write that down. hero sections. We got footer, we got navigations, header. That's a little bit interesting. So header, I mean, there's a few things that you might want to do with a header, because that basically kind of combines the hero section with the navigation. So there might be some stuff you might want to combine with a header, but that might not be necessary for version, beta 0.1. We want a blog layout or a collection layout. We definitely want that. And I think we just want different sections that are kind of content sections, where it's basically where if you're highlighting a product or whatever, there's an image and then there's a content to the right side or to the left side or what have you, those 2 blocks content, or those 3 column, like just different blocks of content that people might want to take in and use to build their website with. This is where it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to limit myself in terms of how many different options I want to put in, and really, again, focus on building components that are really high quality. But again, high quality, what does that really mean in terms of developing these components? Definitely something that's going to be easy for someone to cut and paste and be able to use straight out of the box within their project, but also be very careful with CSS classing and naming structures so it doesn't cause a lot of headaches for the user as well too. Anyway, there's lots of things to think about in terms of what that means with quality. Of course, making it semantically valid within the HTML and the code. Yeah. But yeah, that's just the thing. Again, it's just the thing that I'm struggling with in terms of figuring out what high quality component really means versus, here's just 100 different ways that you can lay out a content system, and they're just basically almost mirror images of each other, just things moved around slightly differently. So that's the kind of thing that I think that I want to avoid. So yeah, but anyways, let's take a quick look here. So we're getting closer to being able to actually start fleshing out this once we actually build the actual pieces and components, and we can actually bring things in and starting to create these assets. It's going to be really cool, creating images of what these different components are going to be. Then, of course, once all the components are kind of ready, we can kind of start using that to making a few templates, which is also going to be fun. So with that being said, I think we got our footer components done for today, at least for our basic ones. And we're going to leave it there for today. And then tomorrow, we're just going to start digging away into more pieces, more components. And we're getting close to episode number 200, which is insane. I think we're going to hit there on Thursday, which is crazy. So thank you so much for everyone for joining and for your support. Even if you're just popping in here, tuning in whenever off stream, I certainly appreciate that. And we're going to keep plugging away and keep building. And that's it. Don't know what else to say except for have a good one. Thank you again for stopping by. And we'll see you here tomorrow for another live stream. If I could remember how to end. There's the button.